in your life's blueprint, you must have as a basic principle the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out to do it and to do it well.
Hello and welcome. My name is Bashir Fadl. I'm the president and CEO of IT's Fantastic. And today we're going to be talking about being confident in the interview. Some of you that play sports, you probably might have went through it, or even if you watch the news, you probably see it, where sometimes people win or lose the game before they actually start playing the game. Because they're not in the right set of mind before one of the biggest upsets I remember, I'm all about Mike Tyson. He's the greatest fighter ever. But when he was fighting with Buster Douglas, this is a person that was way overweight, way out of shape. I knew for a fact Mike Tyson is going to knock him out completely in a matter of seconds. Years later, Mike Tyson talks about that loss and proving and saying that he was not in the right state of mind. Physically, he could have beat him, and I still believe until today he could beat him over and over again, but he was not in the right state of mind. A lot of times we think that preparing for the interview is going through, and I've seen people do it a lot of times, especially college students. They go through cue cards and they go through a list of questions. If they ask me this, the answer is this. If they ask this, the answer is this. We memorize it. But then when we go in there, we're so intimidated, we're so nervous, and we're defeated at the back of our minds. What we want to talk about today is how to be confident in the interview. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually take you with me to the office, and we're going to rehearse a few things in the office and suggest different things that hopefully you will enjoy and will give you I'd like to say better luck, but I know you don't need luck because you're fine-tuned and you're going to do an amazing job in your interviews. So enjoy this session. To prove the point that the interview is an interaction, we're going to look at two different scenarios. You came in early, you've met with the administrative assistant. Now it's your time to go in and talk to the manager, the CEO, the president of the company, and your coworkers, hopefully in the future. Two case scenarios, the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. Oh, well, hello. Welcome. Pleasure to meet you. Glad you made it here today. Again, I was looking through your resume. Very impressive. Looking forward to the interview. Please sit down. Hello, yeah, just come in, sit down, I'll be with you in just a minute. Yes, we've already placed that order, so this is being delayed again. Yeah, sit down, I'll be with you in a minute, just need to finish this phone call. Okay, and it looks like we might need to reschedule. Do you have time to wait for the, can we delay this a little bit? Okay, I need you to wait at the conference room, I'll be with you in a couple of minutes, okay? Thank you. The interview, as we have seen, is very dynamic. It's a human interaction. A lot of people think that it's just a theory. In other words, you read a book, you go through some questions, and it's going to go exactly the way you read it. So you're going to walk in, you're going to have a firm handshake, you're going to dress a certain way, chest out, act all confident, and answer the questions the way they're asked to you. But in reality, an interview is a human interaction. It's just like you having breakfast with your kids, with your spouse, early in the morning. One day they're in a good mood, one day they're in a bad mood. And confidence is not just the way you dress or the way you look. Confidence is being able to interact and just enjoy that human interaction. In case scenario number A, for instance, the person was in a good mood. Hopefully we're in a good mood as well. And it's natural. It's very easy for us to kind of go through what we've learned. In scenario number B, a lot of people will be thrown off. So you went into a meeting, and there's a lot of times when we as managers and CEOs of different companies would have, we're truly busy, it's a hectic schedule, we just got off a meeting, it didn't go the way you expected it to go, and so we might rush things and tell you we'll meet with you in a minute, or go to the conference room or whatever. And a lot of people are thrown off. A lot of people have their A game when they walked in, but something happens and they go from an A game to a D or F game. And that's what human interaction means. That's what confidence means. Confidence doesn't mean acting a certain way. Confidence means that you would treat me, a manager, a CEO of a company, the same way you would treat your significant other. The same way you would treat your kids. In other words, you're very comfortable with the situation no matter what happens. In other words, if I was, not in a very good mood, I was busy with something else, that your reply will just be supportive in the sense that I understand, yes, go ahead, I can meet with you later. Instead of being nervous and bottled up and, oh my God, okay, I'm going to run to the conference room. No, don't be intimidated, but just deal with it as a normal human interaction. If I said, we're busy, yeah, no problem, I'll wait in the conference room. If I said, even when I'm asking questions, sometimes, manager might ask this question and say, please take your time and answer the questions. But then there's other managers that want that in three sentences, we're the Twitter generation. In 3 sentences, summarize what you think about this or what you think about that, or in about 10 seconds, what would you tell me about yourself? Or a lot of those times, again, just don't be intimidated by your standing in front of who, but feel that you're just dealing with you're talking with your spouse, you're talking with your friends, hanging out with your friends at Starbucks, and just answering their questions. Be yourself. Be comfortable, and confident basically means deal with the other person as you're dealing with any of your friends. One thing that I always want to stress, because a lot of times, and I've seen it happen so many times with a lot of college graduates, or even people from different cultures and different backgrounds, or who have not worked in IT before, it might be their first job. One of the biggest challenges is thinking that I really need this job. I have all this college debt I have to pay, or I've never worked in IT before. And we call this paralysis by analysis. We start to overanalyze and we're very intimidated. Human interaction means the reason that we called you into the office for an interview means you have something that we want, and you need to remember that. You need to remember the fact that we called you in for an interview. It's not just because we're going randomly wanting to have fun and said, okay, let's just call this person in. No, it's because we saw your resume. We probably looked at your LinkedIn page and done some research about you, and we might even call people that we know that work at the companies or went to school where you went to school, or some of the professors. We've done our homework. By the time you came in, we really want you to work here. You have a talent that we need and we're looking for. So you need to come in very comfortable and feel like they want me here. And not feel that we're doing you a favor. A lot of people think that when I give you a job, I'm doing you a favor. No, you're doing me a favor by coming to join. It's a mutual relationship. So build your confidence. It's a human interaction. It's not going to go exactly as in the book, which means you're not going to have the chance to always come in and shake my hand and me shake your hand and give me that confident whatever. But deal with it as you will in any other interaction. Just like when you go into your place of worship and you're dealing with the minister, or you go to Starbucks and you're hanging out with your friends, or you're having dinner with the kids, and sometimes everything is happy, sweet, nice, and dandy, and other times something comes up that throws off the conversation a little bit. But confidence means you're going to handle it the way you always do with your friends and your families. That's what a perfect, confident interview would go like. At this point, we want to talk about practice makes perfect. We've heard this saying before, and so if I want to land a confident interview, then I should take the chance to practice. Actually, at itsfantastic.com, every so often, if you sign up with us, we do have mock interviews where we allow you and other people to join us online through WebEx or GoToMeeting. We'll put the information out there. And we could actually ask you questions and just make sure, and kind of measure things. There's certain things that people don't notice during an interview. Sometimes we take normal pauses, and sometimes we don't, and like they say, practice makes perfect. We'd like for you to join us. But in addition to that, sometimes when people are just fresh out of college, they have an over-anxiety that sometimes might not be the right attitude that we want, or someone that has never worked in IT before, that has a certification, has a technical knowledge, but has never been in that corporate environment of an interview. I once recommended something, and I'd like to recommend it to all of you, to kind of take that anxiety away, to make it a lot more relaxed environment. I had a friend, and also one of our students, that in late 2013 completed the Oracle courses with us and was Oracle certified and got their certification, and actually did an internship with us for a few months. And so they knew their stuff. I knew that he's on his way to get a good job as an Oracle DBA. Met with him a couple of months later, and he still did not have a job. And it was because he never worked in IT before, and he was kind of anxious, nervous. He gets into the interview and starts sweating bullets, and something happens. So I gave him an idea, which was, where do you live? Well, we lived in South Florida. And what's one area that you will never go to? He said, I'll never go to the West Coast. I love the East Coast. I love South Florida. The weather's perfect. So I said, you know what, why don't we apply for a couple of jobs all the way on the West Coast? So he went online and applied for a job, and one of the companies he applied with was Amazon. Again, he never thought he'll get a job with Amazon, and that was actually the whole idea, is for him to have a mock interview, to have a practice interview. Even though it's a real opportunity, but at least you don't have that anxiety. It's not like, oh my God, I can't blow this. No, it's let me take a chance with it, because he thought he's never going to go there. It was worth the risk for him. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and apply, because I know they have nothing to lose, basically. He put his resume there, and about 3 days later, I'm at the office, and he comes running to the office and says, guess what? You will not believe this. I said, tell me. He says, I just spoke with Amazon. I did so good that they're going to fly me out to Seattle, Washington, stay there for a day, and they're paying for the whole trip and the tickets and the airplane and the hotel. And I was like, Amazon did what? They're taking you? I wish I knew. I would have applied myself. But the whole point was, the reason he was able to ace that interview and was very confident on it is because he did not have anxiety. It's because it was a practice for him, and he did not have that anxiety, and realized that an interview is nothing more than a human interaction. I keep repeating it over and over until it sinks in, that the person that's offering me the job is not doing me a favor. The person that's offering me a job wants something that I have, and I want something that they have. It's kind of like a marriage, in the sense that, no, it's two people coming together. It's my company needs a website, you're a Java developer, you want the job, you want the pay, we're coming together to work. I just want to make sure the interview is nothing more than just me making sure that you're coming along, you're going to be a good addition to our staff, and you're going to stay with us for a few years. It's nothing more than just a simple human interaction. Don't overwhelm yourself, don't be nervous, and I can't, the moment you start to overwhelm yourself, that's when you're not confident. Okay? Confidence comes by you thinking that it's just like me hanging out with my uncle so-and-so or my aunt so-and-so, or going to Starbucks with my friends. They might be in a good mood, they might be in a bad mood. We're going to hang out, we're going to have fun. So a confident interview is that where you come in and you have that handshake, and if someone says something unexpected, they're in a hurry, they're in a rush, they ask aggressively, you're ready with your good answers and so on. Okay, one of the first things that helps us in being confident in the interview is getting to know our audience. Usually when you get that phone call or email saying that you have an interview, it says who with and what company. So if I'm interviewing at IT's Fantastic, for example, and I'm meeting with Mr. or Mrs. X, then it helps to go into the website. It helps to get to know more about the position. It helps to get to know more about the person, so I can look that person up on LinkedIn, for instance, and get to know more about their profile. I can go to the company's website and know more about the company. Let's say I'm a database administrator, for instance. I know it's for a SQL Server DBA or an Oracle DBA. But now if I go to the website and even look at other job openings, I could find out they're looking for a Unix administrator, so now I know the OS is Unix. Or for a Windows administrator, now I know that they have Windows. And I could find out that they're applying for a certain kind of reporting tool. Maybe it's Cognos or Informatica or SSRS. So as I'm searching the website and looking at different areas, and I'm looking online and looking at more information, I'm getting to know more about the company. I'm getting to know about the products that they have, the platforms that they have, the people that I'm going to meet with. So the more I know about my audience, I feel like family. I'm going to come in there and know more about them and impress them, because now it looks like I'm interested in that person. Knowing your audience gives you that extra edge of confidence. It impresses the audience a little bit more, and it just allows you to connect in a different level than someone else that could be as technical but did not do their homework. Something else that helps me prepare to be confident in the interview is to speak to people that do the same thing. If I'm applying for something such as an ETL or a business intelligence developer, I'm going to be doing Informatica, Cognos, SSIS, SSRS. It helps if I speak to people that do the same thing. Maybe I could talk to someone that works at the company. Maybe I could connect to people that do that same thing. There's different ways to connect to those people. Sometimes it's people that I know, it's friends of friends. Sometimes it's people that we go to the same place of worship or maybe the same gym. But more importantly, one thing that people do not utilize is almost in every single city, there are what we call user groups in IT. So if I'm a Java developer, all I have to do is Google or look up the word Java user group. If I'm a database administrator, all I have to type in a SQL Server user group or Oracle user group. If I'm an ETL or business intelligence, all I have to do is look up a user group, and more than likely there's about 2 or 3 different user groups that have at least meetings once a month. And all I have to do is go and attend those meetings, and usually the first half hour in user groups is for questions and answers and open discussion. So I could be a college senior, I could be someone that's still working on a certification, but the time I attend 1 or 2 sessions, I've already met people that do that job. And more than likely, the first time they're going to discuss and answer my questions and help me with ideas of how to prepare for that interview, and I could ask them freely because it's a user group. But more importantly is before you know it, they might actually have an opening. You can't believe the amount of time that I've went to different user groups, and sometimes in the first half hour there's discussions and people are having pizza and getting to know each other. And someone might have a question and say, in my company, we're stuck doing this. And just me recommending a solution to them, next thing you know, they're coming up with, well, if you have some time, you could work with us part-time or full-time or as a consultant and help us with this. So a lot of job opportunities come out of user groups. There's also websites such as meetup.com that allows us to search for different people that are interested in a subject area that meet in my town. More importantly, as well as I can create my own group. I can go to meetup.com or I can create my own group and basically invite people that do the same thing that I want to do. By meeting with them, by discussing with them, getting to know the interviews, not only am I more prepared and more confident as I walk into that interview, but it actually opens even more opportunities for interviews as well. Rehearse with friends. Most of the interview questions are, again, very generic. If you go online, if you look at books and some of the videos that we have at itsfantastic.com or our YouTube channel, you're going to find a lot of those questions are, they're already out there. Such as, why should we hire you? Tell us, and all the challenging questions about what your strength is, what your weakness is, and some of the technical questions in that area as well that you're applying for. Nonetheless, rehearse with friends because, as I say, practice makes perfect. So the more we practice those questions, maybe we could write it in cue cards or online and we could kind of rehearse them a couple of times. And maybe we could sit with a friend and have that friend ask us the question and we answer those questions. It always helps. Again, on itsfantastic.com, if you go to our website, we have a schedule and every so often we have mock interviews. You're more than welcome to join and we're more than happy to work with you in building that quality. As you're walking into the interview, you need to realize that you get the job and you win that interview before you even walk into the building. So you want to make sure you're in a very good mood. Sing your favorite music. Not your favorite song, but your favorite music, because you're going there to have a good time. So, again, if you're a lady that you think you deserve that job and it comes with respect, sing it out, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And if you're a tough person that thinks that you deserve that job and you're going to win that interview, just sing it in the back of your mind. All I do is win, win, win. In my case, maybe in your case it's meditation. In my case, it's a prayer. There's a prayer called Surah Al-Fatiha. I like to make that prayer, and every time I read it 7 times, I feel I could win the world. So whatever your song is, maybe it's, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low. That's going to put you in the right mood to think that you're going to win that job, then go for it. Have that positive attitude as you're walking in. The moment you get there late, it throws everything off. So get there early. Make sure you're there at least 10 minutes early in front of the office at the reception area. That adds so much to your confidence because now you get a chance to be there early. You're sending a positive message. If you need to sip, a little bit of water, or they could offer you something to drink, you have some time to drink it. You get to meet people. You get to meet with the office, receptionist or admin, and maybe some of the people that get you in the conference room. So you've got time to settle down, to meet people. Maybe they have a brochure about the company, so you could read it. The earlier you are, it just makes you so much more prepared and a lot more confident for that position. Expect the unexpected. Okay, what does that mean? Well, let's start with the worst case scenario. You walk into the job, and as you're walking in, the manager comes up and says, "Okay, I'm sorry, we filled that position." What do? I say thank you and lick my wounds, and I just walk out in a bad mood because I applied and I waited all this time and they already filled it up. One thing that I learned from a great person, Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank. She's an amazing lady. She actually has a beautiful TED Talk speech. And one of the stories that she told was about how when she applied for Shark Tank, they basically said, we filled up. We have everybody that we need. We all have judges that we have for Shark Tank. We don't need anybody else. And if it was me, I'd just, lick my wounds and walk away. But she actually sent a letter thanking them for their time, but also saying that she's someone that's qualified in case if they needed to add one more judge or to have a substitute judge. And just because she sent that letter, they accepted it, and she became a judge on Shark Tank. So a lot of times, expect the unexpected, even if they tell you, they send a negative vibe, or it sounds like maybe we already found someone, or maybe the interview time is over. You never know, because a lot of times I might have a Java position that's all available, and in a couple of weeks, one of my programmers leave, and instead of going through an entire interview process, I remember that I have your resume. And the only reason I'd remember that I have your resume is because you left with a good vibe, because you expected the unexpected, which is the worst case scenario or the best case scenario, and you had a good reply. You didn't just walk out, lick your wounds and walk out, but you stayed strong and confident and sent a positive vibe. So when we said, I think we might have found someone before you, a candidate that's well qualified, he said, well, thank you very much, but, I really hope for the opportunity. And he just kept going on. You kept going on like you earned and you deserve that job. If a position opens up, I'll be more than happy to work for your company. I've heard so much. I've done my homework. And just enjoy every single moment. Nothing is negative. Expect the unexpected and be positive about it. God didn't create us to know and remember everything. What does that mean? It means that, again, we work in IT. In IT, every day there's a new version of a software, there's a new upgrade, there's a patch. Different companies supplement that product with different third-party products and third-party vendors that nobody heard about. So you walk into the interview and I ask you about, did you ever work with the product XYZ? Don't let that throw you off. The worst thing you can ever do is be thrown off by a question or a technology or a feature or an upgrade that you haven't worked with. Because we don't expect you, nobody expects you to know everything and anything. What we expect you to do is be able to prove to us that you're competent enough and you're confident enough to work with it, pick up this new, do whatever training that you need to do, and you're going to be able to impress us with it. And I think I've mentioned it before where we had two candidates apply for a job. Candidate A was very qualified. Candidate B was qualified, but a little bit qualified than candidate A was. Up until we came to the last question, it was about a new feature, and I had a good feeling that none of them have worked with it. It's just a feature that came out recently. So we asked candidate A and candidate B the same question, and I knew both of them did not know it, and sure enough, they both did not know it, but it was the way they answered it. Candidate A answered back and said, no, I don't know this feature. Candidate B was able to draw us in and beat us because the convincing, confident way that he answered the question, he said, I've never worked with this feature, but guess what? I'm a quick learner. I'm a quick study. I'm going to read about it real quick. And before you know it, I'm going to be very comfortable with it. I will know it's so good. Everything that I've picked up so fast, and this is not going to be any different. And before you know it, we were so attracted. We remembered B, who was even less technical than the first candidate, but he made us feel very comfortable that if we get this person, oh my God, he's going to be that positive addition that we need in our team that's going to learn and pick up everything that we need him to. So again, remember, nobody's expected to know everything. Nobody's expected to remember everything. Yes, in an interview, we do expect you maybe to get a little bit nervous and forget something. That's normal. Don't let it throw you off from being confident. I remember growing up, I used to get so nervous when I forgot someone's name because I've already met them and I've already asked them their name. How dare me forget their name? But guess what? Everybody does it. So I no longer mind going back and asking you, even if I've met you a couple of times, ask you a second or third time, would you please remind me what your name is? So if it happens to you in an interview that you get a little bit nervous and forget something or don't hesitate to say I forgot it, but go ahead and give a positive message with it. So stay strong and stay confident. Be memorable. Allow us to remember you. Why? Because a lot of times interviews are not just set up for you. In other words, if a manager and employees and coworkers have a meeting at 2 o'clock, Even though you've prepared a week or two for this interview, most of the time, most likely, we're out there in a meeting until 1:58, and that Outlook pops up on our cell phone and says we have a meeting in 2 minutes. We have to run to our office. We have to stop something else, and we walk into the interview, and we have no idea what questions to ask you. A lot of times that is what the case is. So, and then there's about 3 or 4 people that we've already met with, and we're meeting with you, and then we don't make a decision for another 2 or 3 weeks. So in 2 or 3 weeks, we want to remember who was the best candidate. So you need to be memorable. The way you dress as you walk into that interview, please dress to impress. Make sure you dress appropriately for the interview. Make sure you stand up appropriately. Make sure you shake your hand appropriately. Maybe make sure that you have a sense of humor that stands out. Make sure that you come across as being confident. Make sure that you're walking with a good folder. Make sure that you printed out your resumes not just in a normal white piece of paper, but in some colorful, decent form of paper that we can remember it. Make sure that you take notes so that we think that this person is interested. As we're talking and you're taking a few notes here and there, it shows that this person is confident not only about the interview, but that they pretty much got the job. That's why they're taking those notes. Make sure that you're memorable. Prepare your stories. What does prepare your stories mean? It means that most of the time, as I've mentioned earlier, we're walking out of a meeting or a phone call or a conference call or writing all this code or running jobs or upgrading and patching stuff in production or application development. And here we are walking into an interview with you. Most likely, a lot of the time, we're just going to open your resume and start by asking you questions in your resume. We're going to start on top of it, and it says you work for IT's Fantastic. Well, okay, well, tell me, what do you do at IT's Fantastic? And then the first line after that says that your responsibilities include, doing XYZ. Well, can you tell me about your XYZ? So what you want to do is you want to look and study your resume and have a story or two to tell us about everything. If you say that you're responsible for creating, you're a Java developer that's responsible for creating mobile apps that do XYZ, then be able to tell me a couple of stories about what you do and how you do it. If you talk about making business decisions, be able to tell me about a challenging business decision that you've had to make. If you're telling me that you've worked at a place for 2 or 3 years, be able to tell me a couple of stories that shows me why you've worked there and how excited you are about working there. So every single point, every single paragraph that you have, maybe you're a DBA and you're responsible for backup, be able to tell me about your backup strategies and how you were able to restore and recover databases at different instances. Have a story or two that will get me involved and show me how much of an expert you are in those areas. The interview is not an interrogation. The interview is not a trick question. We're not there to trick you. We're not there to challenge you. We're not there to prove that you're guilty and you don't deserve this job. Absolutely not. The interview is a human conversation. Just like the conversation you have with your friends, just the conversation that you have with your spouse, with your family members, with your children, the interview is a form of a conversation. You don't go there to win an interview. You go there to enjoy an interview. So remember that it's not an interrogation, it's not a trick, but it's a conversation. It's a human interaction. It's an interview. It's an interaction that we have because we've seen your resume, we like your resume, and we want you to join our company. So all you have to do there is come and enjoy a beautiful conversation and answer a few questions in which you're going to tell us about yourself, you're going to tell us about your technical skill, you're going to tell us about your communication skills, you're going to tell us about your leadership skills in a way that we're going to enjoy, and because we enjoy it, we're going to be more than happy to offer you that job. So have that positive outlook, be confident, and the job is yours. Best of luck.
In your life's blueprint, you must have as a basic principle the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out to do it and to do it well.